Hello everyone, this is Modestus from technology team and I would like to show you our highlights for January release. So let's start from domain hierarchy support and article security. Basically, if we add some role into article permission list, basically, and we have only one domain for specific role, that it means that we can access that article only in that specific domain. But for example, with domain hierarchy security model enabled on a namespace, you can enable use hierarchy setting on a namespace in namespaces article. So if it's enabled, and if you have, for example, permissions to this domain, which is called subcompany, then it means that you're able to access article in these domains. Basically, when your current domain is department 1 or 2 or 3, then you should be allowed to access this article. And there's one thing to be mentioned. If, for example, I don't have permissions to subcompany domain, but I have permissions to department 2 and department 3. In my domain chooser list, I will be still seeing some subcompany domain, and I should be allowed to access article in this parent domain. And our second in the list is filter sharing changes. Uh, Basically, I have one filter here. It's called my filter. If I press edit, I will have button share with. When I press this one, I have a window where I could choose users, groups, system groups, or just make it public. Also in this release, we added some new data tags for field filter control. We can go directly to documentation. We have added data source ID. Data source ID tag is requiring data object ID, which will be used to get distinct data for this list. Basically, it's an optional parameter. By default, it will use what it is using now. But if you need, to have some different source for that, you can change it by using this tag. Also, we added data callback. Data callback will work very similar like it's working in lookups. When you pick value, callback is fired. So basically, if I pick value here, I'm pressing fetch data, this callback will be fired. If I choose some things like from here, it will be also firing. Another change what was done before this distinct data, we were getting it from control. Basically, we were querying it directly into database. Now we added this method to data object data handler properties. So for example, if I have some data object, I can get its data handler, and that data handler has retrieve, update, destroy methods, which I can just override, and now also I can override distinct data method with my own function. It's quite useful mostly for dynamic data objects, as for example in this procedure, in this article where we get results from stored procedure, and basically we don't have any backend data handler for stored procedure, to get distinct data for a specific element. And here we are just overriding this distinct data method with our own implementation to get this list here, and it works pretty well. So we are back to our agenda, our highlights. Another thing what I wanted to show you is we extended compare tool to work with assemblies and Win projects. you can access this compare tool from our updater or in assemblies app for assemblies. I can show you how it looks like. I will just go to some updater, and for example I have some wind projects. For example, this one, I can press on a version and I will see all differences in this our nice Monaco control. We have a button which by default shows only different files. If I untick it, I will get all the files. So now it's available for you as well. Let's get back to our list. Another thing on our list is some app designer improvements for HTML editor. We have added Emmet support. You can read about Emmet in this link. I just quickly show you what is it all about. So for example, I want to write some div with some class. If I press enter, it will autocomplete with complete HTML element. Another approach could be I would like to have some OL with list items class. Also, I would like to have some free list elements inside it. Yeah, it did autocomplete, so please use this if you find it handy. And another quite nice improvements is async jobs template in code modules. Async jobs, it's not fresh thing. It was already there for a while, but maybe not all of you have understanding what it does. So I'm gonna show you. Basically, when you are creating code module, you can choose template, and one of the templates is async job, which will create you similar code like I have here. And I want to show you how you could use this. Basically, this method is used for scheduler, so we can have this code module, this method, be used here. So for example, it's already appearing in my list in scheduler. So for example, if I try running this manually, I should see my trace, my cutter message from scheduler. So basically, if I go there, you can see that I did debug write line message from scheduler into my category. And by the way, this is also one of the improvements we made. Basically, it's not us who made it, we just ported it from 365, but it's really very handy when you want to debug some code modules or some other stuff by using debug write line code. Okay, so this is one use case that you can use this method in a scheduler. Another thing is running something from database. It could be a stored procedure, it could be a trigger. So basically, you can from a trigger, you could asynchronously run some of the .NET backend stuff. As for example, here we also have debug write line. We have just my param and some message, and also we are providing my category that we could filter in this trace. How to trigger this? Basically, it's quite simple. We are using system queue. You can read about system queue more under documentation, under docs. So basically, what I have here, I just have simple insert in a stable system queue. Basically, I am saying that it's my namespace, trigger insert, and test method. You can see it. It's my namespace class trigger insert and my test method. Basically, this test method should be public static async task, and also it should have those parameters here. Let's run this one. Now we can see that this is empty. If I run this code, it should add an entry into system queue, and yeah, system queue is running each, at least on our frame side, it's running each 10 seconds. So you can see that we got this message here, and it was triggered from our code. Okay. And another small thing which should be quite handy, it's in DB Manager, refresh all views. Basically, if it fails, it should show some results which view fails. So now if we go to DB Manager, we press refresh view, wait a bit, and we should see complete list which views were failing. And also I can go to this fresh broccoli list, and in this case I should drop it maybe, or there could be another error message. I already talked about trace improvement, so I'll just show you what we have on the what filtering we have on the profiler. So it basically now we can filter anonymous request, others request, and everyone's request. By default it will show me only my request, so I'm not sure what should I do. I will just refresh a page, and here you see, here we will see only my request. If I press anonymous, then I should see all requests coming from website SMS user, anonymous user. Okay, and that's it. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.